I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked. It's a nasty-ass rainy Tuesday tonight, but we got a heck of a show coming for you. You know the routine. Like this video, share this video. Go to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when content's out. You don't have to look for it. You know what's next. I want to promote my upcoming podcast, and we're going to get this show kicked off, y'all.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hates like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your lossy. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
All right, y'all, you seen it right there. Got some killer podcasts coming up. Got Maze coming up soon. I'm going to start adding them probably next week. You seen through April. There's a couple that I hadn't put on there yet. I'm going to sneak in here in the next couple of shows. But tonight, I've been looking forward to this show, man. My guest tonight, this is a young man who is a hot prospect in the pro wrestling business around our area. He's not just a pro wrestler, he does music too. And I tell you what, he is ushering in a brand new era. And I bring to you the one and only TeVON JORDYN. TeVON.
How you doing today, Buster?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Now that we're here and we're doing this podcast, I've really been looking forward to this, man.
Yeah, so have I. I've been waiting patiently for it.
Well, you was on about, what, a year ago maybe, but only for a few minutes. You was on with a group of guys from TriStar Wrestling. And this is the first time you've been on, and you're the feature. So we're going to learn about you here today, TeVON.
Absolutely. Where you want to start at?
Well, let's start at the beginning, man. How did you get involved in pro wrestling? Before becoming a wrestler, how did you discover pro wrestling, man?
So when I was a kid, on my mom's side, they didn't like wrestling at all. So like when I started like going to my dad's more and I was able to understand, my dad was a huge wrestling fan. So at first, like that's all he would let us watch, like because that's all he watched. And I was like, why do we always gotta watch wrestling? I want to watch basketball. I want to see skateboarding. But then I started going to school, and because I noticed my dad watching it, I noticed like some of my friends were big wrestling fans. So I felt like I didn't fit in, and I was only like 7, 8 at the time. So I felt like I didn't fit in unless I started learning it. So I did have a wrestling video game. I started playing it, but keep in mind, this wrestling video game was WrestleMania XIX 19. So it's made in 2003.
Right.
And this is like 2005, 6. And I'm so far behind. So like I'm saying names to my friends and they're like, they don't even wrestle there no more. My mom, unfortunately, we wasn't able to afford cable. So I wasn't able to watch Raw and SmackDown a lot unless I went to my dad. So I was missing out on a lot, and I don't know. I just felt like so left out. So when I got in middle school, we finally got cable, and I was able to watch Raw and SmackDown until my mom found out, and she's like, she's seen a bra and panties thing, and she was just like, "Yeah, you don't need to be watching this." So there went Raw. So the thing was, SmackDown moved to Fridays, and usually on the weekends I went to my dad. So I got to watch SmackDown when I went to my dad's on Fridays. So I became a big SmackDown fan right there, and it kind of boosted me into watching wrestling. So when I was at school, I was hacking into the school system to get on YouTube to watch it, and it just came from that. How I myself got into wrestling was 2022. NWA was doing the tapings in Nashville at the Skyway Studios, and a coworker, he had tickets because like he was friends with one of the wrestlers, and he needed somebody to go with him. He said, "Hey, I heard that you're a big wrestling fan. Tickets are on me. Just meet me at the show." So that's exactly what I did. And I got there. There was a mystery guy in the crowd that was supposed to be a wrestler. All the people there did not look like wrestlers. Like I was a little bit fit because I worked out, but I wasn't wrestling. And everybody thought it was me, even though there was a guy in the front row with a mask. It turned out to be him. It was a wrestler named Gags the Gimps or something like that. It was him. And after the show, my coworker, he was friends with one of the wrestlers. It was Big Strong Mims. He's the national champion in NWA right now. And they invited me backstage. I got to talk to him. I think Rolando and the Pope Elijah Burke, and they were talking to me about getting into the business. And I was like, okay, like where do I start? And it's like, well, Dr. Tom Pritchard has a school in Knoxville, but it's 5 days a week. And I live closer to West Tennessee than East. So I said, it's going to take me 4 hours to get there off my shoot job. I won't be able to make it. And it's like, this is bad timing. So then, like, the dream I thought was coming to reality went back down. And right before I was about to leave, one of the, I guess, a trainee or extra dude came up to me, told me about a place called FXE in Hendersonville that Jerry Lynn, Tom Latimer was running. Right. So I gave it a look, and I thought deep on it for a week, and I was like nervous to make the decision to whether to try it or not. And just so happened that the shoot job, my boss had really pissed me off, and I was like, you know what? I'm calling that number. So I went to break. I called the number. I got in contact with them. They invited me the next day to come look around, see if it was something I was interested with. I came there. I had everything I needed: gym shorts, shoes. I was ready to go. So looked around. I accepted it, signed my contract, gave them my deposit, and I started that same night.
Man, I feel like almost wrestling chose you. Let's go
Yeah.
back to that NWA show. Supposed to be a wrestler in the crowd, and everybody thinks it's you. How'd that make you feel, man? With all these people kind of giving you the side eye, man.
Well, honestly, it really got my anxiety real far up because I'm like, no, like everybody's staring at me and I'm just like, no. And I was like, I've been at places where I've been put on the spot randomly, and I was like, hopefully, they ain't gonna have me involved in none of that. But but it did inside make me feel good. I said, okay, if they're thinking I am, maybe I need to try, but I don't have no connections. I know nothing about the wrestling business besides watching it on TV. So I was like, I don't even know where to start.
I feel like it might have been fake, dude, because I mean it's there's a few guys out there that somebody sees in the crowd, invites them back, wants them to be a wrestler, but not a lot. Most wrestlers kind of they chase that dream. I think it's really cool, man. What did you think when they invited you backstage and Elijah Burke's talking with you about becoming a wrestler?
Well, like in my mind, at the time I'm still a fan, but like Elijah Burke, I used to be a real big fan of him back when he was in WWE in the ECW Newbury. So in my head, like holy shit, this is Elijah Burke, But then I'm like focused because I want him to see that I'm focused and listening to everything he's saying. So I felt real good. So I was all ears, and I've always learned even before wrestling, if you got somebody that's in something that's have experience, ask questions. So, started
Right.
asking them questions about stuff. Of course, not too complicated as I didn't know anything about the business, just the basics, like how hard was it and such like that.
So let me ask you this: you went to FXE, took care of all your business, started that night. How was that first night of training for you?
The first night it wasn't too rough. Like I didn't get to do a lot, but they let me hit the ropes for the first time. They let me take a bump. That was pretty rough.
So talk to
Sorry,
me
my
about
bad.
hitting these ropes because people don't realize when you're fresh to a wrestling ring and your body's not conditioned to hitting those ropes because most places around here have steel cables.
Yeah.
WWE uses real ropes, and now a few more places do. But anywhere around the South, you're gonna find some steel cable with some water hose around it and some tape, and that
Yeah.
steel cable is unforgiving when you start hitting them ropes. You realize, man, that steel cable will tear you up, man. How was that for you?
It was a Ooh, I yeah, it did it left a little mark on my back when I started hitting them because like of course I wasn't hitting them right. They're like try it like this. And finally I started doing it and I was like, whew, like I was like that's ooh wee. And and the bump when I took the first bump, I because they told me there's like you'll do it a couple of times when you hit your head on the canvas, you'll learn to tuck your neck because I wasn't tucking when I did it, and finally I got a bit like I jumped really high because I couldn't do it straight up, and like when I hit my head, I was like, oh my god, I had a headache for the rest of the night, and
Chin,
yeah, it was
chin to chest, man, chin to chest when you're
yeah
bumping. I, I never really had that problem hitting my head. My problem, first few times I tuck bumps, probably the first few weeks of training, man, not keeping my heels off the mat, letting them clack on the mat, man, dude, the first training session I had, man, when I got home that night, of course, it was an 8-hour drive home at the time. This was back when it's still 55. I lived in West Helena. This was Nashville. Man, by the time I got home and pulled my shoe off, I thought my heels were coming off with them. Uh, you got to
yeah
watch that too, man. That mat, what'd you think about the mat the first time you hit it, man? Was it what you thought it would be?
yeah. of course, like I never thought it was soft, but I mean, I was like, okay, it's not as soft as what I thought it was, but it's not as hard as what I thought it was either. Because like I've seen
Right.
matches where they take it and seen the wood, but it's just like whoa, it was just like a whoa. Like I was like, just immediately when I took the first bump, I'm like, okay, now what's it gonna like being slammed by somebody actually forcing you on it? So I was like, whew. And then like when I hit my head, that was the first thing. Like, okay, now how do I do this with somebody else controlling how hard I hit the mat? So like it's a lot of questioning. And then like the next couple of days, like the next day I went, I did a little bit more bumps, and they were like, you'll be sore for a little bit, and that was true. Like my back, it was so unforgiving. Like I had to question myself, like, oh my god, I was at work and my back's like still like just aching, and I was like, oh, and there's like, what's there's like, you all right? I was like, yes, and my back just hurting. Like I had a coworker, he was like real. He's like, man, stop being a push cake. He said, this is your dream. He said, doesn't matter how hard it hurts, you keep fighting through it. I was like, well, I wasn't gonna give up. I just said it hurts. He said, well, quit bitching.
It
And
didn't
so,
hurt that bad, but
yeah,
I'm a little roughed up. Hey, when you're training, hot Epsom salt baths, man, is a training wrestler's best friend, dude. Hot
that,
as you can get it, couple cups of Epsom salt and soak as long as you can, man.
yep, I did that and ibuprofen. I eventually, like, I started taking it. This doesn't, and like now it doesn't bother me. I take the bumps. I'm not sore. It's just getting used to it from not ever doing it before.
Well, here's the thing. It ain't that it quits hurting. It's just your body gets callous to it. You get used to anything. When you
Yes.
do it enough and you do it over and over, your body just gets used to that abuse and it don't register like it did when you first started. And here's a trick I figured out pretty fast because I was a bigger guy, so I was already 375 pounds. So anytime I hit the mat, it was hard. But I figured out the harder you hit the mat, the less it seemed to hurt for me, man. have, you,
Yep.
have you experienced that, man? Once you figure out how to bump, when you bump hard, it seems to hurt less.
Yep. I learned that fast. I think Tom was working this one day, and he was doing like a shoulder tackle on us, but like when he's hitting us, like he's putting a little force to it,
Right.
and we're hitting it fast. So like I hit, I was like, damn, that's just like snap, it done, over with. So I was like, it's not bad at all. So I started like when I was doing like our little bump drills, like I'm smacking the mat and getting back up, and I'm like, oh, that's perfectly fine. Like you said, the slower you are, the more impact it takes. But like if you do it fast enough, it's no problem at all.
What about the breath, man? We were always taught on the way down, you exhale all your air out, so there ain't
Yeah.
no air in you, man.
So I did perfect on that. It's just like the first, it was just like tucking. I wasn't tucking.
Well, it's a whiplash. People don't realize that every time you take a bump, it's like a 30-mile-an-hour car crash. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the truth. It's a whiplash. So you got to get used to. I got a big, thick back, so my head never really hit. Maybe once or twice, but man, I've seen guys knock themselves out in first couple of training sessions taking bumps, man.
I've witnessed it too. So I've seen it as well.
So let me ask you this: how long did you train before you had your first actual match?
Uh, almost about 9-10 months. I trained. We were actually at the time there was a talks about getting our first show at FXC made. Uh, and I was supposed to be on that first show, so I was kind of match ready. It just didn't come to fruition. A lot of stuff had changed. A guy that he's one of my friends. He started ring announcing at SWF Southern Wrestling Federation, and Shane Morton. I get to about Shane Morton a little bit more in a minute. Was looking for like a brand new guys that were pretty good in shape,
Right.
listened well, and can follow directions. And Pat had recommended me, and like first, like just like everything, like I second guessed, and I was like, maybe this will be my big break if I decide to do this instead of waiting. So I went ahead and messaged Shane, and funny funny story about my first match. It wasn't supposed to be my first match. What I was told originally, it was just a run-in situation. I was a heel at the time, so it was just like a beating down. There was a kid they were trying to push, and it was just supposed to beat him down, and that's that. But when I got there, and I just ordered gear because I didn't have no custom gear, so I had to order something offline that was actually wrestling gear. I did it off eLucha, and it just came in the day before all this happened. So I get there and I'm like, okay, I meet Shane and I'm like, what part am I supposed to run in? He's like, I'm thinking about a 6 to 8 minute match, and I was like, huh?
Right.
And he's like, 6 to 8 minute match. He said, really, I just need you to beat the kid down the whole match. We're gonna have another guy come out distracting. He's gonna get a quick roll up pin on you. 1, 2, 3. I was like, oh, okay. So like I'm sitting there and I'm like sweating, nervous. So I ain't never been in front of a crowd,
Right.
and the TeVON shirt, and I just had like some TeVON shorts that I made too. And it was just gonna be like the introduction of me. I was just gonna come in and boom. I don't have my gear. I didn't bring my gear, so it's like, damn. So now I gotta
Cardinal
go out.
mistake in the wrestling business, man. You don't go to a wrestling show even just to watch if you don't carry your gear, man.
Yeah, see, we wasn't taught that. Like, it was so much stuff going on at the FXC, they didn't teach us it. So I didn't know that at the time, and I had to go out there. I mean, it was a good match regardless of it. I mean, that was pretty much the only thing that negative that they had said was, it'd probably been a little bit better if you had actual gear. But I still had wrestling shoes and knee pads and stuff. So, but I went out there and I did exactly what they wanted me to do. 6 to 8 minutes, beat them down, get some heat. I got plenty of heat, and I talked so much trash to there, and he got a pop whenever and stuff. So I did exactly what they asked, and they was like, "Well, we'll let you know if we, if we need you again or whatever. We keep in touch." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, and on the way home, I'm like, "Man, I don't know if they're gonna call me back because of the gear thing." Next week, they was like, "Hey, are you free?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." It's like, we got another match for you. Bring your gear this time. And put the laughing emoji. So I did that.
Look, talent always outranks gear. If you got talent, you can get by for a few shows with patchwork gear, man.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. If they see something in you, get you out there. Let me ask you something. How was it once you got out in that ring? Because my first few matches, I had tunnel vision almost. Like when I come out of that curtain, it was almost like the crowd was muffled. Like you could hear things, but you couldn't hear them as loud. It's like everything's muffled. How was it for you once you got in the center of that ring and you looked around and realized, oh shit, I'm here?
Well, going out the curtain, like I'm standing at the corner curtain. I didn't have no theme music, so they just randomly selected. They selected a pretty good song for me. So I'm sitting there, I'm taking deep breaths. I go through the curtain, and of course, they don't know who I am, so they're a little bit quiet. They don't know what the booty cheer, and like I'm walking around the ring to get in there, get to the stairs to get in there, and there was this lady, and she started booing me, and I guess that just kind of lit a fire into me, and like I start talking trash, and I guess they established that I was a heel, so they started booing. So I got in that ring, and like they're booing, they're asking, "Who the hell are you?" And I'm just like, I'm talking trash back, and so
You'll
I'm
know
like,
by the time I leave who I am.
yeah. So that was actually them doing that actually helped me because I was like, okay, I'm gonna take all that, and get mad, and use that, and in the match, like when I'm really striking, I'm not killing him, but I'm making it look as vicious as possible. So I think that kind of helped me, and I wasn't nervous. Like when I was in the match, like I wasn't nervous at all. Like I was before I went out that curtain. I'm not gonna lie, Buster. I about shit a brick and left.
Dude.
My heart was thumping, but it's like when I went out that curtain and that lady booed me, everything changed. Like it was the birth of TeVON Jordan.
And the thing about wrestling, none of them knew you, but all it takes is that one fan to start giving you, whether they're cheering you or booing you, and that's all it takes. That one fan will start a chain reaction. They look around like, she must know him. If she's booing him, we must need to boo him,
Yep.
And I'm like you, man. Once that red light kind of goes on, the nervousness drops away,
Yep.
But I was the same way, dude. I used to have a bad issue with stage fright when I first started, is what I call it, man. I mean, literally, I'd be nervous as hell. I still get nervous before I do this podcast. You just learn to deal with it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it gets less once you get used to what you're doing. But talk to me about the match is over and you hit that curtain. How big of a relief was it for you, man?
It was a relief, and I got backstage, and I got a little applause, and people were saying, "Hey, that looked really good, like good timing." And I've never done a time match, so I just had to pace it in my head. So there's like good timing, everything was good, and that kind of made me proud because like I didn't know anybody there besides Pat Dooley
Right.
and stuff. He like because I went to school and he's the ring announcer, so he was ringside. And like when I got back there and I got to my bag or whatever, he had already sent me a text. He said, "Dude, that was great. I'm really proud of you," and stuff. So it made me feel good that like everybody's behind me.
We got the one and only KG. Hashtag new era. There you go,
You already
TeVON.
know.
I didn't realize you and Pat went to school together, man.
Oh yeah, man.
I didn't realize that. I thought Pat was a little older than that, actually. How old are you, TeVON?
I am 28.
28. So you still young in the wrestling
Yeah,
business.
I'm 28.
Okay. I for some reason I figured Pat was closer to. I didn't figure he was as old as me, but I figured he's in his mid to late 30s probably.
I think he's actually 40. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's exactly 40. I think he's exactly 40 on the dot, if I'm not mistaken.
You'll be getting a heated message tonight.
Yeah.
I'm 35, man. You're making me older than I am.
That's why I said don't quote me on that because I don't want him thinking that I've miscalculated that if any reason.
So look, man, 22. So you've been wrestling what? A little over 2 years now.
Yeah, look, well, almost 2 years officially. Like I trained for the first year in 2022, and then I started in 2023. So I'm almost June the 2nd of this year will be marked my 2-year anniversary of actual matches. So.
Well, you've come a long way that quick, man. Because when I first met you, we were doing the TriStar Wrestling podcast and stuff. And like I said, that's been a year ago. So you was what, a little over a year in the business at that time?
No, I was a couple months. Like I was
really?
like 7. Yeah, I was only like 7 months when we did that TriStar video. 7 months in.
So is that where you're kind of take me through the shows you worked leading up to where you are now? You don't have to tell me everything, but what was the company you worked for with your first match?
The company I worked for, my first match was the Southern Wrestling Federation, SWF, located in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Tullahoma, I see a lot of their stuff. I hadn't really seen as much lately, but I used to see their stuff all the time, man.
Yeah, they're still running out there. That was my first show that I worked on. The second one I got on was Tennessee Championship Wrestling, and that's ran by KC Gold.
Right.
I got on that. Got on through a seminar.
Oh, through a seminar?
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's actually in my hometown. Literally 5 minutes from where I was staying at the time. There was a seminar hosted by Santino Marella, and I was like, it's 5 minutes up the road. Like I can walk to the place it was at. So I decided to do it, and it was a bunch of people there. My first time at Tennessee Championship Wrestling to wrestle. I went to one show like as a trainee just to see how it was because it was in my hometown. But he asked somebody get in the ring. Without hesitation, I raised my hand, so I got in there and I got to do a little hands-on stuff with him. And the booker at the time was Bam Bam Bunny, Grant Hatton, and he like at the end of the show he gave everybody a little battle royal spot. And I was talking and thanking for allowing me to come to the seminar. He's like, "Hey, would you like an actual match that night?" And I was like, "Sure." He said, "One thing about it is when he asked for to get in the ring, he said, you're the only person that hesitate even second guess." He said, "So I'd rather," and he said, I've heard about you through friends and stuff. He said, "I kind of want to see you wrestle. So if you want a match, it's there." And I said, "Yeah." So I took that, and that's how I got on with them. And I'm still with them currently to this day.
I was fixing to say that. It's funny how connections benefits you in the wrestling business, man.
Yeah.
You go to that Santino Marella seminar, and I remember that show. if I remember that right, they drawed a hell of a crowd for that show.
Yeah, yeah,
Big
it
crowd,
was a good crowd. Yeah.
And that's how it works. And now you're still working for TCW here and there, but you're also working Hub City Wrestling, which is Bam Bam Bundy. Guy like Johnny Morton's got a part in it.
Yes,
These
sir.
guys have a ton of experience, good people to work for. And man, I will say this: I don't watch it every single week, but man, the episodes I have seen of Hub City, they seem to have a well organized professional show. Man, I like their product.
Yeah, absolutely. Hub City's like one of those shows. It's a relief. It's a relief of fresh air because you go in there and it's so well structured. They have the plan. They have the cards. They have everything set to where it's you couldn't ask to be on a better show. I mean, you don't have to be like rushing to get there. They have everything set up for you, and all you got to do is go out there and do your thing. So like those guys are awesome. Shout out to Bam Bam Bundy, Johnny Morton, Danny Dollar, all those guys. Hub City Wrestling is a great place, and I'm proud and glad to be a part of that. It's also led to me for opportunities outside of state to work, because a lot of people come there out of state to wrestle. Because I mean,
Right.
it's not a high commodity yet because it's brand new, but it's gonna be in the next 5 years. Just keep watching it. It's gonna be something great.
And me and you were chatting for just a few minutes before we went live, and you were talking about the structure at Hub City. Man, pro wrestlers need structure. It makes it so much easier on you as a wrestler when you can go there and there's a definite plan laid out, and they can set you down and tell you, here's what we want, here's where we're headed, this is what we want out of tonight, this is what I want you to do, you got this much time. It frees up your mind. You don't have to worry about all those what ifs in the wrestling business, because I see it all the time. You'll take two guys in the dressing room, and like you said, you got 8 minutes you're going over, and they don't tell them nothing else. And young wrestlers need all wrestlers need structure, to be honest with you. But the greener and the younger you are in the business, the more structure you need, because it makes it easier on you. You get two green guys, you send them out there for 8 minutes, and don't give them no direction. You might. Hey, I've seen some great matches come out like that, but I've also seen way more stinkers like that than great ones. So it's a big deal when you work somewhere where there's a lot of structure and organization, because wrestling's a wild, crazy type business. And here's the thing about wrestlers: if you let wrestlers do what they want to do, you're gonna end up with some bullshit, man. It's just as simple as that. No matter how good they are, you let wrestlers, you leave them to their own devices, man, you're gonna be seeing some. Ain't no telling what you're gonna see out there. So when people's got a plan, I always like that better. I always like being able to walk in the dressing room and somebody telling me definitely what we're doing here tonight. I don't have to worry about it. I go out, I do my job, do it to the best of my ability, and hope when I get to the back, it's what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And you couldn't be any more correct. Like, I think that's what hurts a lot of shows, just there's no structure, that, and just like the lack of promotion. Like, if you see me on a card, like majority of the times I'm sharing that flyer every single day. But not only am I sharing it, I'm putting a caption on there. Like, you have to sell it. Like, fans are not just gonna show up because you hit share.
Right.
Give them something to think, like, oh damn, like maybe I need to go see this. Like example, in 2023, me and Majestic had our feud. We're going back and forth on like we're sharing the flyers, we're doing promos, but we're giving captions, and it's got people drawed and stuff. Like, they're like, damn, like I'm gonna see if I can get off work to come watch this. Like, I want to see what's going on. Or they're waiting to the end of the night to see what the results are, so they can be like, damn, like Majestic cheated again. Like, just stuff like that. It's just like the simple stuff. And I mean, from what my experience, like today, as of course 2023, I'm still green, so like I'm still trying to get my foot in door in places. So last year, 2024, I took, I've got my foot in a lot of places. Now I need the area to know who the new area is.
Right.
So this year I decided to do I made a name. Now it's time to branch out. So I've been branching out a lot. But what I've been to shows. Like, I went to a show in Iowa, and when we got there, that whole card, the superstars, all the way to the ones that, you know, everybody can be a superstar, but the ones that they, you know, don't cost it, everybody's putting that ring up. There
Right.
wasn't a guy sitting on his ass. Everybody was putting that. I'm like, damn, like I wish I seen like at Tennessee, like this would happen. Like them guys, the ring was set up in less than 10 minutes just because everybody had a part. Guys had the
Right.
poles, guys had the ropes. Like it's just stuff like that. And that was a great show that night. Like I had a fun time. Like and it was just great. You know, the structure. They even had a Titantron for me, and they made for themselves. So it's just like that's how you run a show right there. So I wish like a lot of places around here would like take note of stuff like that. But you know,
I'm,
who am I?
well, here's the thing, man. You know, wrestling's a weird business, and when you come in it fresh and you've never experienced pro wrestling, behind the scenes of it, man, wrestling, there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in the wrestling business. There's more bullshit and drama than there is positive things most of the time in the wrestling business, but most of it's backstage. Most of it's always backstage politics, backstage bullshit. And you realize how cutthroat the wrestling business can be, too. The dude that's sitting there laughing with you right beside you will go in the office and cut your throat to get a spot he wants. It's just the
Oh man,
business, man.
yeah, and it happened to me like legit, Buster. I do not shit you not. Last year, I was almost done with the wrestling business just because of that situation. Um, of course, I filled out my obligations, but like when it got to August, I took one booking in August, and that was for TCW, and then after that, I didn't take no more bookings. I pretty much wouldn't accept anything, and I was just gonna finish out the obligations I had and be done, just because I was like, I can't take this. Like this is not what I signed up. Like if I've watched people cut through, it's just so much stuff. But there's a guy named Jason James. He runs Pro Wrestling Entertainment. Normally they run in Nashville, like Ashland City, and he had messaged me about a booking in September. So after I did that booking in August, I was like, I ain't wrestled in almost a month. I ain't done anything wrestling
Right.
related. Like I even took my pages down and stuff. Like just try to clear my mind because there was so much bullshit going on, and I couldn't mentally, I couldn't go through it. So I was like, you know what? That's a really good promotion. I've got to work with them before and back in May, and if he's asking me, obviously he's interested in booking me. I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I'll see how it goes from there, and determine if I still want to give up wrestling or if I want to keep going. So I did that show in Nashville at the fairgrounds. Pretty big show, and it kind of ignited. That crowd was so far behind me, and then it just like it reignited a fire in me, and I was like, why would I let anyone run me off of something that I love and I've done busted my ass on doing? So back right there and then I was like, you know what? Screw the politics. Screw who doesn't like me. It's you're gonna keep going and going and going. Ignore the negativity and push yourself. So that's what I did. I had my merch table right after my match, and intermission came. I sold out of everything.
And
So
that's and here's the thing. That's how guys on the independent scene really make most of their money.
yeah,
Is
absolutely.
selling merch, man. I've seen guys get a $40 payout but make $500 at their merch table. You know,
Yeah,
so it's worth
I'm
it.
one of those.
And here's the thing, man. You can't let wrestling discourage you. I tell everybody all the time, once you get in this business and you start figuring it out, it's like a football game. You can't go in the NFL and change the field. You just got to play it better than anybody else. And I believe that in wrestling. When I was young, I wasn't into politics. But as I got older, really after I was not active, I realized, man, I really probably could have got a lot more things that I wanted. And I'm not talking about politics as in to cut somebody's throat. I'm just saying
Yeah,
sometimes in wrestling, you got to go tell the promoter, if you got a good idea, go run it by them. You got something you want, there's a matchup out there you really want, plant that seed in their ear. You know, they may not hear it, you may not, you may say it to them and they may not even react right then, but don't think that seed didn't get planted inside their head. 2 months later, they'll come to you with the same idea like it's their shit, man.
yeah.
You know, and don't never learn how to the game and then play it to the best of your ability. Play the game. You can't change it. I see so many young guys, and I was one too. When I broke in, there was a lot of things that I just didn't like about the wrestling business, but over time I realized that, it's their field. That's the field you're on. You can't change the field. You just got to learn how to be the best player on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And experience going to these out of town shows. You need all that as a young guy. You can, here's the thing. There's a pretty big circuit around Tennessee from Nashville on past all the way down to Memphis. There's a lot of companies, a lot of places to work. But if you spend a year and a half, 2 years kind of circling these promotions, in 2 years, you've kind of worked with mostly everybody, and then you start working with them over and over. And here's the thing, you stop learning. You need to go to other places just for a different experience, whether it's the fans, because fans are different at different places.
Facts.
Dressing rooms can be completely polar opposites of each other. From state to state, from town to town. Talk to me about the traveling. How do you like starting to travel now and go out and branch out?
I'm loving it. I mean, like you said, like traveling to these different areas, like people have a different flavor. Like, we're so different down south than they do up north. So going up there, trying out how they wrestle is pretty cool. So, and stuff that we do down here, they don't see. So they absolutely loved it. They love it. I've been to in the past couple of months. I've been to Indiana. That me and LG3, yeah, buddy LG3, we tag team in Indiana, and I'm talking about over BUSTER for somebody two people that's never been there. That crowd was so loud. Even the commentators is like, I'm truly shocked at how much they're behind these guys, and that speaks a lot of volumes right there. And Ohio, I love wrestling in Ohio. My first year, I think my third month, I got to wrestle in Chicago. That was my first out of state booking. That was pretty fun. A new experience. That's where I started throwing the confetti because I wanted to try something different. So on the way up there, I was thinking of, it's a 7-hour drive. I drove up there, me and my girlfriend, and I was like I was going through songs. I'm like, okay, I want to do a different theme song than what I use in Tennessee. I want to see how I can pop this crowd. I said, this is a different state, so it's not going to be as easy. So I ended up finding a theme song and just playing the image of my entrance in my head. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, I think this is a problem. So I went out there, did it, and they loved it. So I just kept doing that ever since.
Visualization, man. I don't think a lot of people use that to its full advantage. Whether it's an entrance, like you said, man, I can see a guy like you, and immediately my brain goes to working with ideas. I can watch you in a match, and you're able to do one little tiny thing that gets me, and I'm like, man, that was fucking cool. If we took that little aspect and kind of built from there, this fucking dude would be a superstar, But I can, when I think about guys like that, I can see it in my head. That's how I know. That's how I gauge whether something will work or not. And I used to be the same way, man. I would listen to different intro songs and visualize the entrance. You're listening to the song, you're visualizing what's going on behind the curtain. You're looking for that right, perfect time in this song to come out of that curtain. And then you visualize the audience, everything. And I don't think guys do that enough. Same thing with promos. 7-hour car ride. Hey, that's a promo fest right there. You're going to a show, you should think of probably 200 things you could say, man.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
And see, me doing music kind of helped me with that because, like, having to listen and think of that helped me visualize everything because I had to put everything in fruition. Everything has to make sense. It's kind of like my theme song when I was writing it, like sitting here thinking, okay, I'm taking stuff that literally on my journey and putting it into and writing it down, and I'm listening. Okay, I don't like this. Let me go back and swap this. So I think you know, being artistic in the music and stuff kind of helped me with the wrestling too, because like even it comes down to my gear, like the gear makers or the guy that makes my gear, he's like, dude, like this is dope, like that concept. So like I'm real creative in my head and stuff. Like you said, like promos. When I'm leaving shows, I'm thinking of promos. When I'm going to shows, I'm thinking of promos. When I'm sitting around, like I'm always thinking how to make myself better, like in any way, form, or shape, form, and aspect.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, creativity, man. For me, creativity is the king of professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing: it's hard to do anything that ain't already been done. I see people all the time do something and they think they're the first ones to do it, and then you go 30 years ago and you'll see that same spot, you know, or that same move, and this guy's liable to have never seen that. You know, he's liable to have never actually seen that spot, and he thought it up, but it's hard to come up with something original in the wrestling business nowadays. And timing. Wrestling, everything in the wrestling business is about timing, from opportunities to being in the ring. It's all about timing. I feel like music is about timing, I would say. Putting a song together, it's about timing, where everything hits just where it's supposed to. I feel like that would really help you in the wrestling business. And you mentioned earlier about having to time that 8 minutes. You know, dude, I don't think wrestlers do that enough anymore. When I first broke in, nowadays, a lot of times now, even in the little shows, the refs have the earpiece and there's someone back there directing them, telling you when to go home, when to do this, when to do that. Where back in the day, man, unless it was a big show, you got 8 minutes, here's what we want, here's the finish. And the referee didn't even tell you it's time to go home. You had to time that, kind of fill that 8 minutes out for yourself and hit it as close as you could. And that's a big aspect in wrestling, because when they tell you 8 minutes, that's 8 minutes, man. And here's the thing, most of the time that's from entrance to exit. That's not even just match time. It ain't like you got 8 minutes in the ring unless they tell you that. You got 8 minutes in the ring. And especially if you're doing anywhere where they do TV, normally you got 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes from the intro to the exit. You got 8 minutes to come out of the dressing room, have your match, and be back in. You know, and I feel like doing music would really was an asset to you on timing, because everything in the pro wrestling business is built on timing.
Absolutely. That's where Shane Morton came in the picture too, because like a lot of stuff, like Shane would do, like I wouldn't question it. I did everything he asked me, but over time he was really branching, put me in a good position. And he was a big help after I graduated FXC, because like of course at FXC I learned the moves, but the psychology aspect we weren't really taught well on that, I would say. And he kind of, you know, he's like, I want to work with you on the psychology end. And like, so I started, you know, on weekends, started working with him. Me and a couple guys, we'd go there, he'd train us. And some of the guys that haven't debuted yet. So Shane was each time would take like little bits of stuff and have them do it. The entire time he just put them through a match, and they didn't realize it till it was over. And he made them do the whole thing piece by piece by piece. He said, "You just did a match," and I'm like, "Oh, like wow!" And then like just teaching me the little things. Shane, that's why I'm like big on Shane, because like he literally saved my career. Like he put everything in motion for me, and I took in everything he's taught me and I ran with it, and it's not failed me yet. So uh, big ups to Shane Morton.
And the thing about psychology, that ain't really something you can train in a training, teach somebody in a training session. You got to actually get out in front of that live audience. That's when you start really understanding what works, what don't work. You know, it's hard. I don't think you can teach people psychology. Now, once they're out in front of the audience and they start seeing what things work, why they work, not just that they work, but why they work. Because a lot of times you're green, you'll do something, get a big old pop, and you really won't have no idea why they reacted that way. You got a good veteran in the back, you hit the dressing room, they pull you to the side and said, man, I love that, and here's why. Here's why they reacted that way. And at the end of the day, Pro wrestling is all about manipulating your audience.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is, you want to have them where you want them, when you want them. If you want them up, you want to have them up exactly when you want them up. If you want to bring them down, you want to bring them down exactly when you want to, and you want them to react appropriately. You want them to react the exact way you want to. Talk to me about that aspect. I know when you're young and you're just starting, you're just having matches, you're doing stuff, but as you start really learning some psychology and seeing things that work and don't work, how does it make you feel when you go out? Because this is artistic. This is where the art of pro wrestling comes in.
Yes.
How does it feel to have a plan, go out there, and it go to perfection, man? Like, have them people exactly where you thought you would have them, where you wanted to have them, when you wanted to have them there. For me, it was always, truthfully, as I got older in the business, that was my most favorite thing, man, is being able to consciously go out there and control that audience.
Yeah. That's always been a blessing. Pretty much I do good at almost everywhere I go with, as far as controlling the crowd. Like my whole character is, in the way I wrestle, is making the crowd feel what's going on. Like, I want the crowd to feel like they're in that ring with me. If I'm taking the heat from heels, I want them to feel it. Like, I'm showing my facial expressions. I'm giving them fire. I'm giving them something to be behind. So that was one thing that I love doing, is working the crowd. It feels good to be able to control them and stuff. Like, I've seen guys go out there and they're just like, before matches, they come back, they're all pissed off. Fucking crowd's dead and all. Like,
No, it ain't the crowd. It ain't
no, it
never
ain't
the fucking crowd, dude.
and you normally, I'd never like think that. I just kind of like, just like, in my head, roll my eyes, and then I go out there and they're like loud and stuff, and guys are like, what the hell? They didn't, they were dead my match. They just came to see you, this and that. And I'm like, no, it's not that. It's, you give them something to cheer. Like, they're not interested in what you did.
And here's the thing. I believe that goes into the fact that you need to believe what you're doing and who you are when you step through that curtain. If you don't believe who you are, there's no way the fans are going to buy it. And I feel like you said, a lot of guys come back and they're like, the crowd sucks, they're dead. No, it ain't the crowd. Like I said, it's never the crowd. It's you.
No.
And fans can sense that. They wouldn't have bought a ticket if they didn't want to come here and have fun and cheer and boo. They would not waste their fucking time. They wouldn't be there, man. They just wouldn't. So you can't never blame the crowd. I've seen it too, and I'm kind of the same way, man. I'm like, this motherfucker here, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, these mugs paid $10 a piece to come here and just sit on their hands. No, you didn't give them something they wanted to cheer for or boo for. And I believe a lot of times it's the person themselves. A lot of guys go out and it's just pretend to them. Mm-hmm. It's a work, and we're working together. But when you step through that curtain, you have to believe who you are and what you're doing. If you expect the fans to do it, to buy into it, if you don't buy it, they're never going to buy it. You're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, and you're right about that. You got to give them something. And a lot of guys, I mean, their presentation, they go out there, and like you said, they don't care. It's just they want to be one of those guys that, hey, I'm in the ring. I'm a wrestler. They're not taking it as, this is a job. This is, let's bring eyes to this company. Because, like, I mean, a company that TCW, the shows in Dixon have been so great lately that we have not only regulars, but we have new people. Each show, new people come to the shows, and some of the regulars bring the new people. Some of the new people, they get curious from watching the page or seeing the ads, they come and watch it. And they're never quiet. Like, if they're quiet at the TCW shows in Dixon, you need to go back to the drawing board and rethink your character. So it's just like, but everybody's going out there, they're having a good time after the show. They positive feedback. So I mean, it's just like one of those shows. Like, we have good meetings, we talk about what's going on, and we go out there and try to execute the job. I mean, a lot of guys, just kind of flashing back to what you said, don't take the job serious. They're just marks that got allowed into the business, is what they are.
and look like a wrestler when you go out there. I don't mean you got to be chiseled. I mean that. Look, I love fat wrestlers who can go out there and go. They get
Yeah,
over
move.
with me easy. But look like a wrestler. Fans don't want to pay $10 to see the dude sitting beside them in the ring. They want to
Yeah.
see somebody who they feel is special. So therefore, you gotta play that up, man. You gotta be special. You know, I don't want to buy a ticket and look over and the dude next to me, and then I look in the ring and the dude in the ring is wearing the same shit the dude next to me,
Yeah.
like he just got off work.
Yeah.
He's a mechanic, grease still on his hands and stuff. I mean, take it serious. It's always been that way, man. It's always been that way. And you've actually no longer you've been in the business, man. You've been on some big shows. Talk to me about some of these shows you've been on, man. You work with a lot of high level people.
Yeah, it's pro wrestling entertainment. Like it's a really good show that I've been on. They usually feature guys from the NWA. Some of the guys in AEW. Jeff Jarrett said a lot of them. That's been a really really good show to be a part of. Starting there. Um, where else? TriStar. Even TriStar had some good talent there that I've worked.
Right.
The headliner Chris Michaels. Love working Chris Michaels. He's like a me and Chris, like we've been trying to find another place to work each other, but me and Chris Michaels love working that man.
He's a
Teaches
guy you can learn from.
yes, absolutely. And he's really good at teaching you how to work on the fly without talking about it, just listening. So
So
he'll
talk
talk to
to me.
you.
Go ahead, and then we'll
Okay.
no, go ahead, TeVON.
He'll talk to you. You talk to him. As long as there's communication, everything will go smooth. Listening and communication. So love working with Chris Michaels. Love learning from him.
So let me ask you this: there's a lot of guys out there, especially modern guys. From what I understand, they want to go over the match and in its entirety, every
Yeah.
single detail, every single move. How do you feel about that? Look, here's the thing: I can do that. That's one thing I learned in the wrestling business is I can remember a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
I can remember 30 minutes worth of shit, but I don't like to have to. You
No.
know, give me an opening, give me a finish, and let us fill in the middle on our own. What's your thoughts about that? Do you prefer walking and talking, or do you prefer having everything laid out?
Me personally, I prefer walking and talking because you can sit here and you can 30 minutes before the show or 30 minutes before your match, you can talk a whole match. Go out there, you got one of y'all is gonna forget one, if not both, forgets the spots. Or you got B, the crowd reacts to none of the shit you just talked about and you look like idiots. So me personally, I like to walk and talk. Whenever I get how the match is structured and who goes over, all I need to know is if I'm going over, I'll let you know what the finish I want to use,
Right.
depending on what they want, how they want it to end, or vice versa. If somebody else is going over, I just want to know what they do, um, and how to start the match. And the rest of that, like you said, the middle, we just walk. We'll feel the crowd, see what the crowd is feeling. If we're working and we're fast paced at the beginning, and they're popping, whatever, that's cool. If they're liking strikes a little more right at it, that's what we do. So that's just how I normally like to do my matches, just base it off the crowd, because that's the one that's paying to come see us. So if they're liking something that we're doing, why do something that we talked about and make them go from here to here? Keep doing what they're liking. So that's how I like to do in a match. If I'm in a match with somebody that's a little bit more greener than I am, because like I always tell people, I'm almost 2 years in, so no matter how many shows I work, I'm still technically classified as green. So if I'm facing a guy that's a little bit newer than me, like I talk a little bit, but I just make sure, hey, you listening. Or if I know that guy's a little bit greener, I just ask, hey, can you get to the show a little bit earlier? I want to see your skill level and what you can do, and see what I can work and come up with from there. So that's just how I like to work. I've never been the one that like to talk a whole match over, because everybody
Well,
that I did it once and I forgot the whole match, and it looked bad, but we got it back on pace.
went back to walking and talking, huh?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. It's hard to pivot when guys lay a match out completely. and you go out there and the fans are shitting on it or just silent. Either way, that's shitting on it. I mean, if they're dead silent, they're shitting on you. So
Absolutely.
I see it all the time. Guys do that, and then they get flustered. They don't know what to do. They continue with that match and continue to kill the crowd off for the next guy coming out. I don't think guys realize that every single match is a setup for the next guys coming out. Your job, when I broke in, the first match set the tone. I'll be honest with you. To me, a lot of times, the first match is just as important, maybe more important than the main event match, because that sets the whole tone. You take two guys out there and they kill the crowd in the first match, then the next guys have got to come out and work twice as hard to get those fans back. So I always like to put out a first match that I know is going to be a banger, that these fans are going to get in, and know your audience too. Pay attention. If you're not first, watch the matches before you. Watch what's going on. Watch what the crowd is reacting to. Learn your audience, because these people may not want to see the shit you think they want to see. You know?
100% correct. And I agree with you. Like me, if I'm on the card, if I'm not main event, I want to be the first match. I want to go out there and really, really set the tone. I want the crowd to know, like, okay, we're gonna have a good show. Because, like you said, every first match sets the tone for the rest of the show. So if you send two goofballs out there and they make a shit first match, then the crowd's like, why did I even pay to come here? You know. Now, like you said, the next matches they're gonna have to be. You had to go out and do extra shit you shouldn't have had to do because two goofballs or whatever, if it's a tag match, how many people's in the match messed everything up. So that's just how I am. But also back to what you were saying, just a little side note of watching the match previous to you. It's good to do that so you don't use the same finish. Like I've been on shows where guys use the same exact finish as the previous match, and the crowds, we just seen that.
Or just moves in general, man. I mean, look, we're all out here doing the same stuff, but pay attention to what's going on out there, man, because, I mean, if the match before you just throw 13 drop kicks, well, don't go out there and just start throwing drop kicks in this match, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Finishers. The same way when I broke in, look, whoever the main event guys were, you didn't touch their finishers. I don't care if it was as simple as a DDT, then nobody on the show did a DDT that night. Nobody until that main event, where now guys are just doing, they're doing finishers. They're doing the next guy's finishers, and they're not even finishing guys with them. So when I come out next and I got that same move as a finisher, when they just seen 3 matches in a row, guys kick out of that same move, how am I supposed to get that finisher over now? You know,
exactly.
It's just, and a lot of it's just common sense too. You know, a lot of it's just common sense, real life stuff, man. Just pay attention, listen, and do your best, dude. That's all I can say about wrestling. Here's the thing: you're always learning in the wrestling business. You never know everything. I don't give a shit who you are and how long you've been in the business. Ric Flair still learns shit.
Yeah,
The Rock still learns shit. These guys still learn things. They don't know everything. You know, sure, the more positions and the more predicaments you've been put in, the more you do know. But there's always someone that comes up with something you ain't never seen before. Whether it's just a move or the way they do it. And originality in wrestling, too, is a big thing. And, you know, there's a lot of carbon copy wrestlers. You know, from the big time to the indies. Truthfully, it's worse. I think it's worse in the indies than it is in the big time, because these guys need to have a little bit of differentiation, because they're on TV. You can't put 3 hours of TV out and 90% of it's all the same stuff. You got to have different characters, different people, and so originality, man. And I think that's a good thing where you come in, because like your intro music, you made it yourself. You don't have to worry about, you can take that anywhere you want to. I could take it and play it right now, and if you didn't copyright it, it wouldn't get copywritten. I wouldn't get a copyright strike for it. And so talk to me about that. Talk to me about your music, dude.
So, like you said, originality. I wanted to and being different, because like you said, I've been on shows where guys literally don't have the same. I have been on shows where they had the same gimmick, but I've been on shows where they didn't have the same gimmick, but close to it. So that was one thing I wanted to do. I was like, I want to separate myself from everybody else. I want to do something different. Guys, like most of the guys are coming out to songs that are like on the radio. Like I want to have something that's specifically for TeVON. I want to be the only person on the card that has custom music, because I wasn't seeing it a lot. Like very few people my first year, even some of my second year, did not have custom music. Or even now, a lot of people don't have their own custom music. So I was like, I want to separate myself. I want to get custom music, custom gear. So I went to the drawing board. I was thinking, because I was using, I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I want to use something else. So sitting there listening, I hit up one of my friends. He goes by Moolah. He lives in Clarksville. Shout out Moolah. Um, Listen in his little studio, and like I'm like, let's hear some beats. I need something to write to. So I'm listening, and first everything he's playing, and I told him, I said, it's not trash. I said, it's not, I don't feel it. TeVON doesn't feel it. You know,
Here's the thing. Any intro music I ever used had to make me. I had to get goosebumps. It had to
yes,
make me feel that. It had to make me feel a certain way, or I just wouldn't use it. And
yeah,
I'm with you on that 100%, dude.
yeah.
And if
So
you're
I was
not
like,
feeling it, it's not gonna be right. Period, man. You gotta feel it.
absolutely. And I was like, shoot me, Levante. He likes it. TeVON doesn't like it. So I was like, let me. And then finally I heard it, and I'm listening. Heard the one. I was like, okay. So I start imaging myself coming out, and I was like, yes, this is the one. So then came to part of the lyrics. Like writing the first verse wasn't too hard. Getting to the second verse was a little bit harder, because I'm like, all right, I got a lot of stuff to write about, but I have to make it make sense for the song.
Right.
So I'm listening and I'm going through it, and it's just like, So the second verse took me a while, but the third verse didn't take too long. It was just I got lost the time. I look and I was like, shit, the TriStar show's next week, because that's when I debuted. I was like, I have to finish this third verse. And I had a lot going on. I ended up at the time getting sick at work, where I had to get rushed to the hospital and stuff. I don't know. I think I was having an anxiety attack or something, and it kind of delayed me. But like when I was in there, I was like, okay, I gotta finish this. I was like, I only have 6 more lines. Like you gotta finish this. So when I finished it, I was like, cool. Uh, I told Mula, I was like, hey, I think I got it. I'm gonna go record the song. So I came, and it took me about 20 minutes to knock it out fully. I kind of wouldn't take it, because only time I messed up was on the second verse. He's like, dude, feel it. Like everything you're saying is good. He said, but feel it. Push yourself. Like it just sounds like you're saying words. He
Emote.
said, I need you to feel it. I need you to be you and TeVON in one person. And I need you with having the emotion of TeVON, but using the skill of yourself, and go through it. So when he said that, I just really started going through. Like I closed my eyes, started rapping, and I opened my eyes. I'm still going until it's finished. And he's like, "That's what I'm talking about right there." He said, "That's what I knew you can do." He said, "Just give me a couple days to have it mixed." And I'm like, "Please have it done before the 6th of January, because that's the first TriStar show." I said, I'm gonna give you 2 days. If you ain't, I said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to blow you up to get it done. I said, because I really want to debut. I don't want to go out to anything else in TriStar but that song. And now it's like, unless I'm working Hill somewhere, which a lot of places won't book me Hill because I'm too over. I'd had to go way out of state somewhere to get booked as a Hill
And
anywhere
here's
in
the
state.
thing: you can't make that $500 gimmick money as a heel, man.
Yeah, which I'm not. Hey, I'm not complaining about it at all. Like as long as I got a job to work, I don't care if it's Baby Hill, whatever you want to book me as. I'm gonna take a full advantage of it, and I'm a bust my ass and get it done. So um yeah, so now it's just like I feel it. Like I have that mark, like you were talking about earlier. I have that mark where I come out that curtain and stuff, and the fans are starting to understand it now. So like as soon as I come out, they're already like on their feet cheering. I do my little confetti thing that I throw. It really gets the kids hype. So coming out to it really helped me because like I love getting in that zone when I'm going to that ring. When I got the music and I'm feeling in the crowd, it gets me hyped. So like as soon as I hit the ring, I get on the turnbuckle, I do my little pose, like I'm feeling it. So theme music's very, very important. Uh, who was it? Somebody. I was at a show a couple months ago, and they didn't get my thing. I was trying to give them my theme, but they were like rushing. They didn't have it. So like they played some off the wall theme, and like I couldn't get into the zone. And finally, like they end up turning it off, and I was like, I done been waiting for like a couple of minutes. I'm gonna go out there to no music. So I just went out to no music. Crowd popped, and they finally started playing it as I got into the ring. And I was like, there's no point now. But yeah,
Look, KG's back with us. He said it gets me hyped every time.
shout out KG. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So look, man. Realistically, how far do you want to take this thing? Because I ask a lot of people this question, and believe it or not, the answer you think everybody would have is not always the answer I get. But they got this new thing out here now, this WWE ID contract. How far do you really want to take this, man?
I want to go as far as I possibly can. I talked to the guy that does the WWE ID thing, Gabe Sapolsky, last week and stuff, and got some note. I wrote down some notes of stuff we talked about. We talked about 45 minutes via video chat. Just stuff they're looking for is stuff that I know I need to work on some of the stuff he said. So
right.
So I just had a whole new demeanor going into this new month. So really, really gonna be pushing the angle of everything. Working on pacing, which I do a really good job at pacing, but just registering everything I sell good, just making sure everything look crisp, strikes. So I'm aiming for the top as far as I can go, wherever give me a shot, and that's what I'm shooting for. I mean, I didn't get into this just to cosplay and tell people I'm a wrestler. Like this is what I want to do. So
right,
like, I'm gonna push myself until I can't. So everything's gonna be used as elevation. I'm gonna get my name out globally. Like I said, I'm making the trips. I'm in the States. I've already been to 6 states so far in my career. I still got one more. I got 2 more new ones. I just applied for my Kentucky license today. I got my physical, so I should be licensed for Kentucky soon. So I'll be taking some bookings up there. I know I got Texas in May. So
what about Missouri, man?
I need to get licensed for that. I gotta find a link to get on there.
Get licensed in Missouri and hit me up, man. I work with a promoter in there, a guy by the name of Mark Manley. He runs American Hostile Championship Wrestling. You can actually LG3's worked a couple of shows for him now, so that'd be someone you could talk to. But
okay.
get licensed, man, in Missouri, and I'll connect you two guys, man. It might be another state for you. He runs a good show, man. It's professional. Always seems to draw a pretty good crowd, couple hundred people usually. But Missouri's a hell of a state, man. The commission is tough as hell in Missouri. But if I'm thinking right, Kentucky's the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. You had to apply for it, so I wouldn't got, like I said, I wouldn't got a physical today. So I mean, I should be good for Missouri my physical's done. I just gotta pay the license fee or whatever. So I'll look into it for sure.
$40 or $50, I think.
Yeah, because Kentucky's is 40, or at least that's what I paid. But I also got a certificate too that I'm gonna keep just in case my internet or something messes up if I'm out there and they're not like tripping.
So do they still give y'all? Do you actually get a wrestler's license in the mail too?
It's optional now. I did both. I got the digital one, but I got one in the mail because sometimes just to be on the safe side, so I can put it in my bag. So man, I paid for both of that.
The first wrestling license I ever got, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. And really, they just taking your money. You know what I mean? The commission. Look, back then, I don't even think I went and got the physical. My sister-in-law was a respiratory therapist and worked at the hospital, and she just filled it all out. All they really cared about was the money. But man, I still got that license from 1993 or 2. I still got it somewhere around my house. I laminated it.
Yeah, you gotta frame that, Buster.
Yeah, man, I thought it was the coolest thing to get that license, you know. Um, Dude, I've enjoyed this conversation, TeVON, man. I'm glad I finally got you on here by
Yeah, glad to
yourself
be
where we
here.
could learn about you, dude. Hopefully, in the next 6 months or a year, you can come back and have some new stuff to tell me, man. Some
Absolutely.
new
Hey,
wrestling adventures, man. Before we get out of here, do you got any social media you want to plug?
I do. You can follow me on Facebook, TeVON Jordan. It's right here. You can also follow me on Instagram slash Threads. Same thing, TeVON Jordan. Same as Twitter slash X, TeVON Jordan. Pretty much all my social media is TeVON Jordan. I do not have Snapchat, so no
I got
Snapchat.
I got it, but I can't hardly use that shit, man. I don't
Yeah, so
understand Snapchat whatsoever. I'll be
so
honest
there's
with you. Of
no.
course, I'm an old motherfucker too, so
Ah, don't say that, man. We just getting young by the day.
shit. I don't feel that way, TeVON. Every morning I wake up, I feel like I'm a day older, dude.
Uh, trust me, I feel 28, but feel like I'm 50 something. Sometimes I wake up and go walking around. But yeah, all my social media is TeVON Jordan. So you should be able to find me on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, and Twitter.
Upcoming shows, man. You got any shows you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yes, March 22nd, I will be in Tennessee Championship Wrestling in Dixon, Tennessee. March 23rd, for Action Sports Wrestling, I will be in Columbia, Tennessee, facing OVW's AJ, AJZ. Sorry, I
Oh
didn't want to say
wow.
his name wrong. AJZ from OVW at that show. It'll be a really, really good one. March 29th, you can also catch me at Tennessee Championship Wrestling in Jackson for the second annual Burt Prentice Memorial Day. That's going to be a real, real hot commodity. A lot of good names on that card. So any of those shows from March, you can visit me at. Right now, April is open. So if any promoters are watching and you want to do some work, business, be sure to contact me, and we can talk about that.
KG's back. He says TCW, I'll be there. Uh Bart Prentice Memorial Show. Uh Big time thing, man. And I was gonna say that earlier about KC. KC was kind of broke in the business, if I'm thinking right, by Bart Prentice. Uh,
Yes, I
uh,
think so.
so he knows how to run shows. That's the one thing.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things people can say about Bart, but that dude could book a show. He could get TV anywhere in the country, and he could draw a crowd always. One of the very
yeah.
best promoters I've ever seen. I ain't never seen him open a territory anywhere that wasn't successful until he decided he was ready to shut it down. You
Yeah.
know,
I never got to work for Burke personally, but I've heard a lot of stories about him, and yes, like the territories, he's good. I mean, Casey's he's done pretty good keeping the territories alive. The ones that he was left, like Dixon, Selmer, and Jackson. So it's
right?
been it's been a really good show. So I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get to attend the one last year. I think that was the first one they did because I was already booked that night for TriStar, and I was in the angle for there. But excited to be a part of this year's one. Looking forward to it. I don't know who my opponent is yet, but with all the names that's been featured on there, I mean, pretty much anybody on that card would be a good opponent. So we'll just see where it goes.
Right, right. I may have to come check that show out, dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Come through, Buster. We'd love to have you.
Look, TeVON, man, it's been my pleasure, dude. I'm so glad
Yeah,
we finally got to do this. Man, look, I wish you all the best in your career and in life, my friend.
thank you. I really appreciate that. Likewise, my friend.
All right, TeVON, you take it easy.
And you too, sir.
All right, y'all, you seen it right there. The new era, TeVON Jordan, TCW, Hub City, Action Sports Wrestling. If you're anywhere and you see this guy's name on the card, go check him out. It'll be worth the price of admission. Look, guys, you know I got to plug my upcoming podcast. Busy week this week. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., I'll be back with the pretty boy, Doug Masters. Veteran in the wrestling business. We're going to talk about Puerto Rico, Portland, Memphis. No telling what else. Thursday night, I'm back with The Last Dragon, 7 p.m. Me and Draco, one-on-one. We're going to chop it up good. I want to plug these podcasts one more time, and then I'm going to let y'all out of here.
I wake up need. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it. I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking this podcast out tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pretty Boy Doug Masters. It's one you don't want to miss. I'll see you guys.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.